Hi, welcome back to Shirley DIY Design. Today we still are making over my smaller bathroom in the house that my teenagers use. And today we're going to be making over this countertop. This countertop is a dark green color. I don't know why that color is in here, but it has all these white splashes all in it and it won't go away. So I decided I was use some marble gold contact paper that I ordered from Amazon. This is really quality contact paper. I really like it. And the reason why I use the gold is because the cabinet is a brown woodish gold color, and the bathroom is painted a golden color, a golden tan like color, which is the whole house painted this color. And also the tiles on the bathroom floor was the same color, which has golds and grays and white center. And what you see me in here doing here, I went ahead and decided to cut out all 4 pieces of my contact paper from my countertop. And the first piece I cut out was the part that going around the wall, and then the other part going around the mirror. Then I decided to divide the sink in half, and I cut the sink contact paper in half by measuring. And also I used the lines on the back. I put it up there on the countertop, and I see where it will start and end, and I remember that line, which is numbers on it, and then I turn it over and cut it out. So I feel like this will be the better way for me, which it did. It worked really well. I thought it was going to be very, very hard to apply the contact paper, marble contact paper, to the countertops, because I had watched people on their videos and they were struggling. It's time consuming because you want to make sure you get out all your air bubbles and you lay it straight and try to get it as perfect as you perfectly can get. Like I always say, ain't nothing perfect but God. So it's not going to be perfect, but it's get it as close as you possibly can that it makes you feel good when you look at it. So that's why I took my time and did it. I would love for you to watch me do the whole exact thing, but no one gonna sit there an hour and 30 minutes and watch me decide how I'm gonna lay out and put out contact paper on a countertop. So I broke it down to 20 something minutes, as short as I possibly could, because I want to help someone, because there is a better way of applying this contact paper. And I'm not saying my way is the best way, but it was much easier for me. So what I did is cut out all 4 pieces, and that's what you see when we're doing here. I have this razor knife my husband bought me. It's by Cobalt, and they have really, really sharp blades. So it worked really well with helping me be able to cut it out without having to deal with scissors. And I don't have a steady hand. I can tell you that now. I have a shaky hand. My artwork will be a whole lot better if I had a surgeon hand, but I don't. So, but I work with what I have. And here I'm going to apply this side piece first. But there's a technique that I did. And that technique was, I always turn my contact paper over and I pull back a certain part, and then I fold it, and then I attach that part, and as I go I slide from underneath, and that keeps your paper from getting tangled and matted. And I smooth it as I go to try to get all the bubbles as I possibly can out. See how I still have some of the paper still attached to the contact paper is because when you pull it all off at one time, you have no control over that contact paper. It is sticky and it will stick to itself and anything else. You can pull it off, but once it sticks to itself, it kind of messes it up. So if you slowly take your time and slowly remove the paper as you go, and always start it like turn it over, fold some of it down all the way across, and the part that you're going to stick that on it, and then reach underneath and start sliding your paper from off the contact paper, releasing it. And that will save you a lot of pain and headache. It's one contact paper technique that does works for me. So I'm going to slit the ends so that I can easily fold this contact paper over this end part of this countertop part. And then I'm going to clip off the little top part. Even just a tiny little bit at the edge to fold it back down. And that seemed to work. I'm not going to talk through the whole video. I'm gonna kind of sit back, and if I need to like explain something that I'm doing, I'll step in and start explaining it to help you out. Here's what I was telling you about, how I'm folding back some of the paper from the contact paper, and not all. And I'm folding it back, and I'm put a crease in it, so it's in that piece of paper, so it stays, so I can be able to catch it. Now then, I'm gonna attach it to the part of the countertop that I wanted to attach on. This took a little time putting this part up here because, like I said, nothing is perfect, and nothing in these homes are built perfect. These builders throw these homes together, so you have to work with what you can, and you got to fight with trying to get the paper lined up even. And another tip, when you are applying your paper to your countertop, when at the like a flush end, like the flush to the wall and flush to this mirror, use the end of the contact paper that you did not cut, because when they made the contact paper, it was cut and made straight, so that will help you out also, because that's what I end up doing. The part that I cut with the knife, I didn't use that part against the flush part of the wall or the countertop. I used the part that was already cut when they made the contact paper. I hope that you understand what I'm trying to say here, because this is very important, and it does save you a lot of time on trying to line that paper up to get it smooth and against that back of that mirror or against the back of that wall. Whereas when you cut with scissors or with a knife or something, it's not going to be perfectly straight, and it could be a little bit more here and a little bit more there, and therefore you won't be able to get it to go jam up against that wall. Let's say you put it up against the wall, all the way up against the wall, and then push it down, and then go back with your knife and cut it off. You could do that also, but I felt that since it already have a straight edge from when they made the contact paper, it's best to just use those edges and let the free part fall where you don't need to put it against a smooth straight surface. See how I just pulled the rest of the paper off? Now I'm going to just finish it on down. And if there's a bubble in it, go ahead and take that bubble out. Make sure you take your bubbles out. This little orange thing, I ordered it, and the blight thing, I ordered it when I ordered my contact paper, because they said that they really help with you getting the bubbles out and smoothing down your surface of your contact paper. Now here I'm adding my halfway from the inner part to the other part. And like I said, I'm folding out. See how I'm pulling back that paper from against the contact paper, and then I'm gonna fold it and give me my starting point. And also I can stay in control of what I'm doing with my paper. Instead of my paper controlling me, I control it. Because I release how much I want to release, and I release it from underneath as I go. Here I'm lifting in because I had a bubble to remove the bubble out. And I'm gonna guide it right up against the sink, and I'm gonna let it stick to the sink, because then I'm gonna come back with my knife and I'm gonna cut around it on top of the sink, not up underneath the sink, not right next to the sink, but I'm literally gonna put the contact paper on top of the white part of the sink, and then I'm gonna cut it out, and I'm gonna slowly I'm gonna cut that part out, and then I'm gonna slowly take my time and lift it up and push it back up underneath the contact paper, back up closer and closer underneath to the sink part. A lot of people, I noticed some people, they will pull their paper up to the sink, and then they will just cut right around the sink and forgot to leave a little space, because you got to give some room. Then your contact paper it's not reaching all the way. So that's why it's best if you slowly take your time, like I'm doing right here, and slowly push your contact paper up to the sink as close as you can get. It's going to get to the point where it's not going to go all the way, but you don't want to cut down round that part. You want the contact paper to stick to the white part of the sink. and then you're gonna cut. You're gonna cut up on top of the sink where the white part contact paper, where the contact paper is. See, I'm trying to get that contact paper all the way as close as I can. Now, see, I'm cutting the contact paper, but I'm not cutting it down below where the sink is. I'm cutting on top of the white part of the sink. And that's going to make sure that I have enough space when I get this extra contact paper out of my way, which it is in a way. It will not let you get the contact paper all the way up to the rim of the sink. It's not gonna let you do it. So you're gonna have to leave that at the bottom. Don't cut it. Cut the part up on top of the sink like I'm doing, all the way up on the top of the sink. You're gonna cut this excess out your way. See how I'm cutting that's all that's excess. And see how the contact paper is all the way on top of the sink on the white part. Now I lifted up the contact paper again and I pushed it up against that rim of the neck of that sink, all the way up. You're gonna push it really good and take this part out so you can see what I'm doing. See, so I actually got contact paper on the white part of the sink, and you want to have that because you're going to go back later and you're going to trim it down. Once you get your contact paper laid down real good and all your bubbles out, you're going to come back with your knife and just trim all the way around and make it smooth and even at the end of that. See how the contact paper is up on top of the sink? That's what you want. Make sure up on top of that white part of that sink. All the way up there. See how far it's going up there? Because you want to get that contact paper under that sink as close as possible. And actually, I was dreading doing this part because I thought it was going to be very difficult. But then I said, let me use my technique that I normally use when I use applying contact paper on everything else. So I'm going to just apply it to this sink the same way. And it works. If I knew how to take this sink out of this thing, I would have took the sink out and then put the whole contact paper on the whole thing like that. But I don't know how to take no sink out of no countertop. I'm sure it's not hard. I'm sure I probably could do it, but I didn't do it. I just did it this way. Because I know then I got to go back and reinstall it inside there. So I was like, okay, that's just more extra work too. So let me just do it this way. So now what I'm doing, I'm going back with my knife. It's a razor knife. It's very sharp. And I don't have a steady hand, so it took me a while. This is where my time consuming came in at. Because I had to cut a little piece here, a little piece there. Because my hand is shaky and I don't cut up everything. So what I did is I took my time and I hold the knife with both hands. One to guide it and one to hold it steady so that I can get it down. So what I'm doing is filling in this bite part. Because this sink goes almost all the way to the back of that mirror part almost. It's very close, very tight. So here I am, just making sure I get all the bubbles out and Smoothing everything down real good and fitting everything in right. And that's half of the sink already done. See how I'm going back and cutting those pieces out? Like I said, it was auto. I left it so that it go all the way up on the sink. I went back in and cut those little pieces off of it. This came out so beautiful. My 20-year-old came home from work and he was like, "Oh, I love the marble bathroom sink countertop." I said, "Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm getting it done for y'all." So now I'm gonna fold this end part down so I can get it started. See how I fold it and mash it down, and then I add it to the countertop. And this is gonna be the other half. When I was joining up the sides, the little parts, they're gonna join together, it was cut straight and I didn't like it. You're gonna see it about at the end. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna cut it crooked so that it still look like it's marble instead of like, oh, it stopped there and began there. And it did work. It was just something, an idea that came to my mind. I didn't like the straight. You could tell where it stopped and stare where it began. And I said, what if I just cut it crooked and see how well it worked? And it looked like it was just marble. So, and it did work. So if you want to try that when you're connecting your pieces, it's a good idea because it does work. You can't tell where it began and end because it looked like marble instead of those straight edge lines. Like I said, I let the contact paper come all the way up on the white part of the sink. And just take your knife once you're done and just trim it back. Here I'm just slitting the little side so I can get the contact paper to lay down. Smoothing out my edges. Here I'm gonna cut this little line in here, get a slit so it can go ahead and lay down smooth. Sorry, my head anyway. I was working, I wasn't thinking. Oh, I'm so sorry. But I'm just cutting the slits and laying the paper down. That's all I'm doing on that. And here I cut out a little piece that went on the very back part of the mirror area. And I filled that in. I had two little corners like that. One on that end and then one on the other end. I just cut out a little piece contact paper and just stuck it up there. And the one thing that I'm gonna do, I'm sealing this contact paper. A lot of people put contact paper on their sinks and water get up on it and it comes up because they forget to seal it. If you get this stuff called Lexel, I will show it to you, and seal it, it won't come up. Here is where I'm saying where it was so straight and smooth that I can tell where it began and end. So I'm taking my knife and just jet it out, making it cut crooked so it's not straight and smooth, so that when I smooth it back down, it just looks like it's marble and it just blended in. And I did that to the up to the back part of the sink part area too. So I'm finishing up this part of sealing it down, and I'm gonna use the Lexel. Lexel is a alternative to silicone. It's clear, it dries clear, it's stronger, and it sticks to pretty much everything. I'm gonna seal down my contact paper all the way around. This is the Lexel, all the way around my bowl, sink. But also I'm going to do it on the back part or where the countertop is, and right above the mirror and the contact paper. And wherever the contact paper stopped in, I also sealed it. And Lexel, it holds and keep the water out so that your contact paper stays. And this is how it came out, guys. It's beautiful. I love it. And if you like this video and I helped you in any kind of way, please like, share, and subscribe. And stay tuned. I will be updating each day different parts of the bathroom makeover. Thank you and God bless. Till next time.